When we think of danger in the deep blue sea, our mind immediately conjures up images of serrated teeth, dorsal fins slicing through the wave, and the massive, muscular frame of a great white shark. We have been conditioned by cinema to fear the giant, the loud predator that thrusts and roars. But in the vast, silent wilderness of Earth Ocean, the most lethal threats are always the ones you can see coming. In fact, some of the most efficient executioners on the planet could fit in the palm of your hand. Hiding behind vibrant color, delicate translucent veil, or shells that look like harmless beach souvenir. Today, we are diving into a world where sight is deception and silence is a death sentence. We are counting down the top 10 silent assassins of the ocean. These are the specialized killers that don't need round teeth or brute strength to take down their prey or human. They operate with a level of biological sophistication that makes a shark look primitive. We are talking about neurotoxin so potent they can shut down a nervous system in seconds, and delivery systems so praised they feel like nothing more than a mosquito bite until it's too late. From the ethereal, ghostly tendril of the boss jellyfish, which carry enough venom to kill 60 grown men, to the beautiful but terrifying blue-ringed octopus, a tiny set of loopholes that pack a punch capable of paralyzing a diver before they even realize they've been touched. We will explore the deceptive beauty of cold snail, a slowly moving mollusk, armored with a harpoon loaded with a complex cocktail of toxins for which there's no antivenom. These are the hidden masters of abyss, the sniper, the poisoner, and the invisible ghost. They don't hunt with a splat, they hunt with a whisper. As we descend into the sleep, you will learn why the smallest shadows in the water are often the ones you should fear the most. We are moving beyond the teeth and gore to look at the chemistry of death. Are you ready to meet the creature that proves the most dangerous thing in the ocean is often the thing you never saw coming? Let's begin the countdown of the ocean, the most silent and most deadly assassin. Top 10. Starting our countdown at number 10 is a creature that perfectly embodies the phrase, "Look can be deceiving." Meet the lionfish. With its flamboyant array of black, white, and black stripes and a magnificent fan of delicate, feathery fin, the lionfish looks more like a high-end ornamental centerpiece for an aquarium than a cold-blooded assassin. But in the warm water of the Indo-Pacific and now as a devastating invasive species in the Atlantic, this beautiful fish is a silent, venomous predator that dominates its territory with surgical precision. What makes the lionfish a silent assassin isn't just its appearance, it's its specialized hunting methods. Most predatory fish chase their prey with bursts of speed, creating a commotion in the water. The lionfish, however, is a master of stealth and slow-motion execution. It uses its oversized, fan-like pectoral fin to create a visual shroud, slowly herding small fish and crustaceans into a corner or against its raptor. To the prey, the lionfish does look like a threat. It looks like a harmless piece of drifting seaweed or a colorful coral formation. By the time the victim realizes the danger, the lionfish have already poisoned itself for the strike. The utterly kill is a display of lightning fast vacuum physics. The lionfish can expand its mouth so rapidly that it creates a powerful suction, inhaling its prey hold before it can even tweet. But the assassin title truly comes from its defensive weaponry. The lionfish is armed with 18 needle-like dorsal spines. It's connected to a venom gland. These spines are not used for hunting. They are a certificate "don't touch me" system. If a larger predator or an unsuspect get too close, the lionfish does swim away. It holds its ground, tilting its head down to present its array of poisonous glands. The venom is a potent cocktail of neuromuscular toxins, while rarely fatal to healthy humans. A sting causes excruciating pain, swelling, and in some cases, temporary paralysis or respiratory distress. In the animal kingdom, one encounter with this spy is usually a lifelong lesson, if the predator survives at all. What makes the lionfish even more terrifying is its ecological impact. In the Atlantic and Caribbean, where they have no natural predator, they are invisible killers to the local fish population. Native fish have evolved to recognize the lionfish as a threat, allowing a single lionfish to reduce the number of young fish on a reef by nearly 80% in just a few weeks. They are silent, beautiful, and incredibly destructive. The lionfish earned the number 10 spot because it proved that in the ocean, the most dangerous weapons are often hidden behind a veil of elegance. It is a slow-moving ghost that clears entire reef without making a sound. But as we move to number 9, we are leaving the world of painful sting behind and entering the realm of true instantaneous lethality. We are about to meet a master of camouflage whose venom can shut down a human nervous system in minutes, and you won't even see it sitting on the rock right in front of you. Top 9. Moving into the number 9 spot, we find the undisputed master of invisibility and the most venomous fish in the world, the stonefish. If the lionfish is about flamboyant assassin and that's warn you with its color, the stonefish in the ocean the ultimate landmine. It doesn't hunt, it doesn't chase, and it certainly doesn't want to be seen. It simply exists at a part of the sea floor, waiting for the exact moment to deliver a strike so agonizing and lethal that it has earned a legendary reputation among divers and coastal inhabitants alike. What makes the stonefish a silent assassin? Its near-perfect camouflage. Its skin is molded, bumpy, and gray with ground, perfectly mimicking the texture of a round coral reef or a jagged rock covered in silk and agate. A stonefish can sit perfectly still for hours, or even days, allowing sediment to settle on its body until it becomes completely indistinguishable from the environment. You could be looking directly at one from a few inches away and never realize that a living, breathing predator is staring back at you. The stonefish the hunting strategy is the definition of low effort, high regard, and is an ambush predator that relies on the suction feed methods. When a small fish or shrimp swim within range of its mouth, often thinking it's just passing a harmless rock, the stonefish opens its jaw with such incredible speed that it creates a pressure vacuum in less than 0.015 seconds. The prey is sucked into the stonefish gullet. There's no struggle, no splat, and no warning. One moment the prey is there, the next it has vanished into rock. However, the reason the stonefish is ranked so high as a silent killer is its defensive weaponry. Along its back it carries 13 stout, needle-sharp dorsal spines. Its spine is connected to two large venom glands. despite are strong enough to peer through a thick, slow rubber flip-flop or a diving pool. When stepped on it or pressure, the venom is injected under high pressure directly into the victim. The venom of a stonefish is a potential cocktail of protein that's called immediate excruciating pain, often described as the worst pain known to man. It triggers rapid swelling, temporary paralysis, and tissue death. Necrosis. If left untreated, the toxin can lead to heart failure, delirium, and death within a matter of hours. What makes it a silent threat is that the victim often doesn't even see that they step on. They simply feel a sharp prick and then an overwhelming wave of agony that radiates through the entire body. The stonefish secures its spot at number 9 because it represents the pinnacle of passive lethality. It doesn't need to be fast or aggressive, it just needs to be invisible, and it's a reminder that in the ocean, the most dangerous thing is the shark cycling above, but the rock you are about to step on. But as we move to number 8, we leave the seafloor for the open water, where a tiny, beautiful mollusk carries a harpoon loaded with a specialized poison that has no known cure. Number 8. Stepping into the number 8 spot, we move from the camouflage fish or the wrap to a creature that looks like a beautiful, collectible treasure, the scone snail. To an untrained eye, the intricate marble patterned shell of a cone snail is a pride worth picking up during a stroll along the tropical beach. But inside that elegant spiral lies one of the most sophisticated and lethal weapon systems on the planet. This is a slowly moving mollusk that has evolved into a high-tech sniper, capable of taking down fast-moving fish and even killing a human with a single silent shot. What makes the cone snail a silent assassin is its specialized hunting tool, a modified hollow tooth called a radula. This tooth is used for chewing. It's a biological harpoon, needle-sharp and loaded with a toxic cocktail. When a fish swims near the cone snail extends a flexible, flash-shaped tube called a proboscis. To the fish, it looks like a harmless bit of wood or food, but in a split second, the snail fires its harpoon with such force that it piles the scale of the fish, instantly inject a dose of neurotoxin. The venom of the stone snail is a masterpiece of chemical warfare. It contains hundreds of different toxins that attack the nervous system from every angle. One of the most terrifying components is what scientists call the Nirvana stress cocktail. This specific toxin mimics insulin, causing the brain blood sugar to plummet instantly. The fish doesn't struggle, it falls into a state of total peaceful paralysis, a chemical nirvana, before it even realizes it's been hit. The snail bee then slowly reels the paralyzed fish into its mouth and swallows it whole. For humans, the danger is even more profound. The sting of a large species, like the geographic cone, is often referred to as the cigarette snail sting. The legend goes that once stung, you only have enough time to smoke one cigarette before you stop breathing. Because the venom contains powerful painkiller, a victim might not even feel the initial shock. They may simply feel a slight prick, followed by numbness, tingling, and eventually total respiratory failure as the toxin shuts down the muscle responsible for breathing. Perhaps the most chilling fact about the cone snail is that there's no known antivenom. Because its snail venom is a unique complex mixture of hundreds of different proteins. Medical science has yet to find a universal cure. Treatment consists purely of keeping the victim on life support until the body can eventually clear the toxin on its own. If the hurt doesn't stop first, The corn snail earned its place at number 8 because it is the ultimate hidden threat. It's a slow, beautiful, and silent predator that uses advanced chemistry to conquer the fast-paced world in the ocean. It's a reminder that in the deep, even a snail can be a world-class assassin. But as we move to the number 7, we leave the shell behind and enter the world of the invisible god, where a creature made of 19 feet water carry enough poison to stop a human herd in less than 3 minutes. Number 7. Rising to the number 7 spot is a creature that is as close to a god as anything living in the ocean, the bot jellyfish. While the predator we have discussed so far have physical body, shell, scale, or spine, the bot jelly is translucent, shimmering phantom. Is a 95% water, almost entirely invisible in surf, and possess level of lethality that make even the most aggressive shark seem harmless. In the coastal water of northern Australia and the Indo-Pacific, this is the silent assassin that locals fear more than any other. What makes the bot jellyfish a silent assassin is its nearly perfect transparency. Unlike the common jellyfish that trip aimlessly with the current, the bot jellyfish, specifically the Chironex fleckeri, is a sophisticated hunter. It has 24 eyes, some of which are capable of detecting light and dark, allowing it to navigate around obstacles and actively hunt small fish and shrimp. It doesn't splat, it doesn't surface, and it doesn't provide any visual warning. A swimmer can be surrounded by dozens of sea guards and never see a single one until the moment of contact. The weaponry of the bot jellyfish is perhaps the most terrifying in the natural world. Hanging from its pot-shaped belt are up to 60 tentacles. It's growing up to 3 meters, about 10 feet long. The tentacles are lined with millions of microscopic, pressure-trigger harpoons called nematocysts. When a human or a fish brushes against a tentacle, the harpoon fires instantly, injecting a venom so potent it is designed to kill fish in seconds. For a human, the experience is a nightmare. The venom is cardiotoxic, meaning it attacks the heart, the nervous system, and the skin cell all as one. The pain is described as being brandished with a red-hot iron, but it's the speed of a kill that earned the bot jellyfish its legendary status. The venom can cause the human heart to cease and stop in as little as 5 minutes. In many cases, victims go into shock and drown before they can even make it back to the shore. There's no struggle, there's only a sudden, agonizing scream followed by a total collapse. The silent articularity is greatest asset because they are so difficult to see. Fish in high-risk area must be natural or closed entirely during stinger season. Even a fracture of a tentacle washed-up on a seine remains venomous and can deliver a life-threatening dose. It is a biological minefield that moves with the tide, beautiful but deadly curtain of invisible needle. The bot jellyfish earned its place at number 7 because it is the ultimate visible predator. It doesn't need teeth, it doesn't need a brain, it doesn't even need to see to be the most lethal thing in the water. It's a reminder that in the ocean, what you can't see often far more dangerous than you can. But as we move toward the top 6, we leave the god behind for a tiny, brightly colored sepal pod. Or blue ring are the last thing a victim ever sees. Entering the number 6 spot, we move from the ghostly trail of the jellyfish to a creature that is as beautiful as it's deadly, the brawling octopus. While most of the assassins we have discussed rely on being invisible or look like rock, This tiny cephalopods, barely the size of a golf ball, it was spectacular, high-tech warning system. But by the time you see its famous glowing ring, it's already too late. In the tide pool and coral reef of Pacific and Indian Ocean, this is the ultimate pocket-sized killer. What makes the blue ring octopus a silent assassin is its deceptive docility. Most of the time, this octopus is a dull yellowish brown color, blending perfectly into the sandy bottom or crevice of a reef. It is a shy, reclusive creature that spends its day hiding. However, if it feels threatened or stepped on by an unsuspecting beachgoer, its body undergoes a terrifying transformation. Within milliseconds, dozens of bright, iridescent electric blue ring flash across its skin. This is not an invitation to play. It's a biological siren screaming that you are in the presence of one of the most toxic animals on Earth. The weaponry of the blue ring octopus is a chemical marvel called tetrodotoxin (TTX). This is the same deadly neurotoxin found in the pufferfish, but the octopus carry in is a much more concentrated form. Interestingly, the octopus doesn't product the venom itself. It has a symbiotic relationship with bacteria living in its salivary gland. When the octopus bites, usually a tiny painless peck from its parrot-like beak, it injects a dose of TTX that is 1,200 times more powerful than cyanide. For humans, the experience is chillingly silent because the bite is so small and often painless. Many victims don't even realize they have been envenomated. They might continue swimming or walking for a few minutes until the symptoms begin. First comes the numbness in the lips and tongue, then a loss of vision, and finally total muscular paralysis. The terrifying part, the victim remains fully conscious and aware while the body shut down. Within minutes, the muscle responsible for breathing stops working, leading to respiratory arrest and death if medical intervention is immediate. Like the cone snail, there's no known antivenom for a blue ring octopus bite. Survival depends entirely on rescue breathing or being placed on a mechanical ventilator until the body can metabolize and clear the toxin, a process that can take up to 24 hours of being trapped inside a paralyzed body. It is a silent, terrifying experience of being a prisoner in your own skin. The blue ring octopus earned its place at number 6 because it represents the peak of concentrated lethality. It provides that you don't need sight, teeth, or aggression to be a master of the deep. It is a tiny, glowing jewel of the ocean that carries enough poison to kill 26 other humans in minutes. But as we move into the top 5, we leave the colorful warning behind for a master of biological electricity that can drop a human from a distance without even touching them. Number 5. Continuing our journey into the gods of the aquatic world, position number 5 brings us to a creature with a truly peculiar appearance. It is a predator that needs no speed and no chemical venom. Instead, it possesses an invisible weapon that can strike down prey from a distance, the electric eel. While primarily known in freshwater basins like the Amazon, its electrical capabilities are the ultimate example of a silent assassin, striking fear into anyone exploring musky mangrove water or river estuaries. What makes the electric eel a true professional killer is its incredibly sophisticated biological weapon system. Its body acts like a giant living battery, composed of thousands of specialized cells called electrocytes. When it detects prey or feel threatened, the eel can discharge a current of up to 860 volts, nearly 4 times the voltage of a standard household outlet. This is just a mild cycle. It's a blast of energy powerful enough to cause immediate muscle paralysis, heart failure, or violent physical spasms. The silence of this species lies in how it uses electricity so scant its surrounding. Its murky water where vision is useless. The eel emits low-intensity electrical pulse that act like a biological radar system. A prey animal might be hiding perfectly still under a layer of mud, but the moment a light current brushes past it, its muscle will twitch uncontrollably. The microscopic vibration betrays the victim's location to the predator. Once the target is locked, the electric eel delivers the finishing blow, a massive high-voltage shock. The prey, whether it's a fish, an amphibian, or even a large creature, is instantly frozen as its nervous system is completely overloaded. Because electricity travels so efficiently through water, the eel doesn't even need to target its victim to kill it. A faint ripple in the still water might be the last thing a creature heard before being subdued by an invisible force. For humans, a shock from an electric eel is rarely fatal on its own, but leads to a silent, terrifying secondary cause of death. Drowning via paralysis. When shocked, your muscle lock instantly, making it impossible to swim or call for help, resulting in being pulled down by the weight of the water. The electric eel earned its hot spot at number 5 because it represents a different key of natural power, the power to control energy itself. It doesn't need the saturated teeth or shark or the venom of a barred jellyfish. It only needs to flip a switch to end our life around it. But as we move toward top 4, we return to the deep ocean to meet a fish that doesn't just camouflage its possessed venom by so deadly, it acts as a literal landmine beneath the scene. Coming in at number 4 is a master of deception whose weapon isn't a strike or a sting, but a final meal that carries one of the most terrifying biological payloads on Earth, the pufferfish. While many of the ocean assassins are aggressive hunters, the pufferfish represent a different kind of silent lethality. It doesn't need to chase you, simply wait for a single moment of misplaced curiosity or hunger to deliver a death sentence that is as quiet as is irreversible. What makes the pufferfish a silent assassin is its internal chemistry. Most species of pufferfish contain a neurotoxin called tetrodotoxin (TTX), concentrated primarily in the liver, ovaries, and the skin. To put its lethality into perspective, TTX is up to 1,200 times more poisonous than cyanide. A single pufferfish carries enough toxin to kill 30 other humans, and there's no known antivenom. It's a chemical landmine wrapped in a slow-moving, often kill-looking exterior. The silence of this killer lies on how it interacts with the food chain. In the wild, the pufferfish is a passive assassin. When threatened, it inflates its body into a spiky, unswallowed ball. However, the real danger for any predator or human that may need to eat it, the toxin doesn't cause immediate pain. It doesn't burn or sting upon contact. Instead, it silently infiltrates the victim's nervous system, blocking the sodium channel that allows nerve cells to fire. For a human, the progression of pufferfish poisoning is a walking nightmare. It begins with a slight tingling of the lip and tongue, followed by dizziness and vomiting. As the toxin spread, it introduces total muscular paralysis. The most terrifying aspect is that the victim remains completely conscious and lucid while their body shut down. They can see, hear, and feel everything, but they cannot move a muscle or speak. Eventually, the diaphragm, the muscle that controls breathing, paralyzed, leading to death by respiratory failure. It's a death of absolute stillness and silence. In the culinary world, particularly in Japan, and it is served at fugu. The pufferfish is a high-stake gamble. A single millimeter of misplaced liver during preparation can turn a luxury meal into a little dough. The assassin is always there, hidden in the fiber of the meat, waiting for the silent human error. The pufferfish earned its spot at number 4 because it's a reminder that in the ocean, danger is always something that attacks you. Sometimes it's something you invite it. It is the silent, chemical gatekeeper of the deep. But as we break into the top 3, we're leaving the passive poisoner behind for a creature that looks like a beautiful blue balloon but draws the curtain of chemical fire. Behind it, capable of dropping a swimmer in an instant. Breaking into the top 3 is a predator that looks like more straight party balloon or delicate piece of glass than a high-level assassin, the Portuguese man-of-war. Often mistaken for a jellyfish, this creature is actually a siphonophore, a colonial organism made of thousands of tiny individuals working together as one terrifying warship, floating on the surface of the open ocean. It is a silent, drifting trap that uses the wind and current to navigate, dragging a curtain of chemical fire beneath it that can stretch for over 30 meters. What makes the Portuguese man-of-war a silent assassin is its absolute lack of noise or movement. It doesn't swim, it sails. It got few bladder, shimmering with a decent shade of blue, purple, and pink, act as a sail, keeping the creature afloat while the deadly tentacle trail far below the surface. To a swimmer or a fish, the surface looks clear, but deep underwater, an invisible minefield of venomous inflammable is waiting to strike. The weaponry of the man-of-war is a masterclass in mass production lethality. Its long ribbon-like tentacles are covered in hundreds of thousands of microscopic sting cells called neurotoxins. These cells are triggered by the silent touch, firing a toxin cocktail that is designed to paralyze it instantly. For a human, contact with the tentacle is described as being lashed by a whip of liquid fire. The pain is so sudden and overwhelming that it often leads to shock, causing the victim to lose consciousness or experience a systemic allergic reaction. The silent herb, this killer, is particularly dangerous because of its range, because the tentacle can be 10 times longer than the creature's body. A swimmer can be stung by a man-of-war that is dozens of feet away and completely out of sight. The venom doesn't just burn the skin, it travels through the lymphatic system, attacking the heart and lung. If a swimmer is hit by multiple tentacles, the resulting anaphylactic shock can stop the heart before they can reach the shore. Even a dead man-of-war washed up on the beach remains a silent threat. Its tentacle can still fire and deliver a full dose of venom for days after the creature has died. The Portuguese man-of-war earned its place at number 3 because it's a ghost ship of the deep. It's a predator that doesn't need to see, think, or move to one of the most dangerous things in the water. It simply exists, drifting silently and leaving a trail of agony in its wake. But as we move to the final stop, we return to the master of the painless kill, the creature so toxic that you might die without even realizing you were touched. Stepping into the silver medal spot is a creature that is perhaps the most terrifying silent assassin of all, specifically because it's almost entirely impossible to see. The incapacitate jellyfish. If the boss jellyfish is a god, the incapacitate is a microscopic whisper, barely the size of a fingernail or a single bean. Its tiny medusa is responsible for medical phenomenon so unique and agonizing it has its own name. Irukandji syndrome in the water of northern Australia and increasingly across the globe. This is a killer that provides sight is absolutely irrelevant to lethality. What makes the Irukandji a silent assassin is near total invisibility. Its bell measures only 5 to 25 millimeters wide and is completely transparent. A swimmer could be surrounded by hundreds of them and never see a single swimmer in water. Unlike other jellyfish that have stinging cells on their tentacle, the Irukandji have them on its belt as well. This means any contact with any part of tiny creature results in a massive injection of one of the most potent venom on planets. The weaponry of the Irukandji is masterclass in delayed psychological and physical torture. The initial sting is often described as feeling like a mere mosquito bite or sliding. Many victims don't even realize they have been stung and continue swimming for 20 to 30 minutes, but while the victim remains calm, the venom is silently traveling through the bloodstream, systematically hijacking the nervous system and triggering a massive release of adrenaline and noradrenaline. The silence of this killer ends abruptly when the syndrome kicks in. Victims experience a sudden, overwhelming wave of symptoms: excruciating muscle cramp in the back and kidney, a burning sensation of the skin, headache, nausea, and a heart rate that can skyrocket to dangerous levels. But the most chilling symptom is the sense of impending doom. The venom affects the brain in such a way that patients become clinically convinced they are about to die, often begging doctors to kill them to end the mental and physical agony. There's no antivenom for the Irukandji. Treatment is poorly supportive, often requiring massive dose of magnesium and painkiller to manage the symptoms until the toxin clear the body. Because it's so small, it can pass through the mass of traditional stinger nets designed to keep out large jellyfish, make it a persistent, invisible threat that haunts even protected species. The Irukandji jellyfish earned its spot at number 2 because it is the ultimate invisible predator. It doesn't need to be seen to destroy a human life. It simply needs to exist in the same cubic foot of water as you. But as we move to the final spot, we'll return to a creature we have already mentioned, the true, indisputed number 1 of the silent assassin. It is a creature that combines beauty, intelligence, and neurotoxin so fast-acting that you will never be paralyzed before you can even say goodbye. Finally, we reach the summit of our countdown, the absolute champion of the silent assassin. He is a creature that perfectly balances breathtaking beauty with instantaneous lethality. It doesn't hide behind a shell, and it isn't a mindless drifter. It is highly intelligent, remarkably small, and carries a weapon so potent it makes the great white shark bite look like a playground scrub. Standing alone at number 1 is the blue-ringed octopus. While we touched on its warning sign earlier, the blue-ringed octopus earned its top spot because it's the ultimate phantom killer, measuring no larger than a golf ball and weighing only a few ounces. This tiny cephalopod spends 99% of its life as a master of camouflage. It can change its skin texture and color to match a sandy bottom or a jagged rock in milliseconds. You could be resting your hand on a coral reef or exploring a tide pool, inches away from a predator that could end your life, and you would never see it. The silence of this assassin is its most terrifying trait. Unlike a shark attack, which is a chaotic explosion of water and blood, a blue-ringed octopus strike is often completely painless, using a tiny razor-sharp beak hidden beneath its arm. It delivers a kiss of death so delicate that many victims believe they simply be scratched by a piece of coral or bitten by a small crustacean. But in that 1 millisecond, it injects a dose of tetrodotoxin, a neurotoxin created by symbiotic bacteria that is 1,200 times more deadly than cyanide. There's no struggle, there's no scream. The venom silently enters the bloodstream and begins to block the sodium channel in victim nerve. Within minutes, the body begins to shut down. First, the lip go numb, then the vision blur. Finally, the muscle responsible for breathing simply stop working. The most haunting part, the victim remains fully conscious. You can hear the rescue talking, you can feel the sun on your skin, and you can see the world around you, but you are a living statue, unable to move, speak, or draw a single breath of air, with no anti-venom. The only way to survive is to be placed on a medical ventilator immediately. If you are alone on the beach or deep in a tide pool when the paralysis hits, death is almost certain. It is quiet, lonely, and clinical execution delivered by a creature that looks like a beautiful toy. The blue ring octopus is our number one silent assassin because it is perfectly predatory paradox. It is tiny but its difficulty is strong. It is brilliant but deadly. It is beautiful but provides the most terrifying silent exit imaginable. It is a reminder that in the vast, deep blue, the greatest danger aren't the ones that roar. They are the ones that simply watch, wait, and strike without making a sound.